Thanks, Sads. Good afternoon, everyone. Just about a tale of two beleaguered Manchester United strikers. One current that can't get in the team, and one former who can't buy a win. For Wayne Rooney, even the Europa League didn't offer him a start, and today, for the third time in a row, he has to make do with a place on the Manchester United bench. For Mark Hughes, who's already been sent from the bench this season, he needs his luck to turn. A malaise that set in at the end of last season and has continued into this has seen Stoke City win just twice in 13 Premier League matches. They are bottom of the league. Both teams are unchanged from their last Premier League outings. Manchester United start with David De Gea in goal. Valencia, Bailly, Smalling and Blint, who went back to left back against Leicester City, stays there. Herrera and Pogba will hold in midfield. That access looks very, very good. Lingard, Mata and Rashford providing the pace and creativity in behind Zlatan Ibrahimovic. For Stoke City, they're unchanged too. Lee Grant, who made his Premier League debut last week at the age of 34, stays between the sticks. They've had 4 goalkeepers in the last 3 months of last season and the beginning of this. Glenn Johnson is the right fullback. Shawcross and Martins Indy, the 2 central defenders, and Eric Peters is the left fullback. Cameron Whelan and Joe Allen, who's been injured all week, are in midfield with Arnautovic and Shaqiri supporting Wilfried Bony in attack. He's yet to score for Stoke City. In fact, the last goal that he scored was in December last year for Manchester City. Well, the former Stoke and Manchester United defender Danny Higginbottom is alongside me. United are big favourites for this game. Why should Stoke City be scared of them?
Well, I think first and foremost set pieces. You know, it's been a real problem. They've conceded more than anybody this season from set pieces, 7. And I think what Stoke City have got to do, they've got to be compact early on in the game. I think they've got to drop deep, you know, and allow Manchester United to have the ball and then look to break quickly, because there's no doubt about it. If you look at Stoke City's success last season, in particular away from home, was based on the counter-attack, the pace of Arnautovic. You have Shaqiri, obviously Boyan's not playing today, but then you've got Bony, who is a strong player, and he needs to hold it up until support comes to him, and that's what they've got to do. What they can't allow to happen is for Bony to get isolated up front and get support to him quickly, because Manchester United will dominate the possession, there's no doubt about it.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic will remember Solna. Shawcross will remember Solna. England against Sweden, the Ibrahimovic show. Those two come up against one another again.
It was so unfortunate for Ryan Shawcross at the time. That it was the beginning and the ending of his England career, and I think Ibrahimovic on the day was absolutely outstanding, and he would have got the better of anybody. But like you say, you know, they come up against each other today, so it'll be interesting to see how that battle unfolds.
Well, Stoke City have already won one battle. They've turned Manchester United round in the first half. It means that they will shoot from left to right in this first period, in blue shirts, blue shorts and blue socks, and Manchester United in their traditional colours, shooting from right to left in red shirts, white shorts, black socks towards the Stretford end. Traditionally like to do that in the second half of games. Sunday Fun Day starts here. We're underway with 2 back-to-back commentaries. Manchester United trying to close the gap on Spurs and City, who play later on today. But your first course comes from Old Trafford, where Manchester United take on Stoke live on the biggest sports radio station in the world. It is Talk Sports. Bobby Madley is our referee. Here's Wilfried Bony, a first touch of the ball for him down the right-hand side, and Stoke City almost looking like Manchester City in those light blue jerseys today, shooting from left to right. Ball goes out of play on the near touchline. It's picked up by Pogba from the throw-in, and then Manchester United try to progress down the left side. Jose Mourinho standing in the technical area with a big black puffer jacket which comes down past his waistline towards his knees. It's not quite the Arsene Wenger quilt, but it is a bigger jacket than normal for Mourinho.
It is getting a little bit chilly. It's a lovely day, but it's getting a little bit chilly now. We're just looking at Manchester United. They're very much a 4-1-4-1, with Herrera just sitting in front of the 2 centre-backs. But then you've got Pogba having the licence to get more forward himself, which is something that we're so used to seeing him doing at Juventus in particular.
Lingard on the right side picks it off of Ibrahimovic, shifts it out into the right wing position, where coming up from full-back, Valencia takes over. He moves towards Peters, then comes infield, gets to the edge of the box and slips it to Pogba. Pogba takes on one player, Shaqiri, then plays in Ibrahimovic. He's got a chance to score here. Low to the goalkeeper's left. Good save. He should have gone to the goalkeeper. goalkeeper's right. Well, it was a good opportunity that. And Lee Grant went one way and read the opportunity, and Ibrahimovic, who was played in perfectly by Pogba, really should have opened the scoring. He should have gone down to the other side of the goalkeeper. He went in towards the near post, and it was an easier save.
It was fantastic build-up play. Pogba, we talked about him getting further forward. He plays Ibrahimovic in, and like you say, you think he's going to go to Grant's left. It's a great double save from Grant as well, because that really should have been 1-0 to Manchester United.
Here's Blint with the corner. It's an outswinger towards the far post. Martins Indy takes charge and heads it clear. It's picked up by Massa. We know how dangerous those corner kicks can be from Manchester United, as Leicester found out last weekend. It's back in by Valencia towards the far post. Smalling has stayed up, heads it down. Ibrahimovic, he won't need another chance, tries to win it. There's a foul on Shawcross, and the free kick has been given to Stoke City. But what a big chance that was. Inside 2 minutes, Manchester United really will feel as if they should have taken the lead, Danny Higginbottom.
It was a huge chance. Fantastic play from Pogba at the edge of the area, and just plays it in between Shawcross and Johnson. And Ibrahimovic, like I say, he'll be disappointed with himself, because he opened himself up and you think he's going to go to Grant's left where all that space is, but it didn't. But for me, it was just how easy Manchester United opened up Stoke City so early on in the game. That'll
be a real worry for Mark Hughes, the former Manchester United striker and now Stoke City manager. Manchester United, their first half on Thursday night was dreadful. Mourinho will be hoping for a much better start from today. He knows that was hard work. It was a good opportunity really early doors this afternoon for Ibrahimovic to open the scoring, and he'll have to try and shrug that off now and get on with the game. Here comes Rashford down the left-hand side, expected to be named in Gareth Southgate's first England squad a little bit later on today, alongside the likes of Chris Smalling and Wayne Rooney. And Jesse Lingard as well, who they reckon is going to be in today for the first time. Smalling through the centre circle to the right, and Bay then trots a couple of yards up to halfway. It's out to the right, and Valencia comes in field, past Arnautovic, and then back into Bay. And Bay then sees it all the way back to Chris Smalling. Remember, Stoke halted a dreadful run of 4 straight defeats with a draw against West Brom last week, but even that felt like a defeat because of the nature of the late goal that they conceded. Here's Mata onto Blint, a bit further forward now. He's playing in the left fullback position. Hair tied back in a bun, shirt untucked at the waist. Towards the halfway line he goes, gives it to Herrera, who I think has been superb over the last 3 matches for Manchester United. Gives them platform on which to build.
Yeah, and he gives the 2 centre-backs protection, so the 2 full-backs go flying forward, and they do it very well. And the one thing I've just been keeping my eye on, you've got Glenn Whelan and Cameron, who are sitting, and they're near enough going man for man on Mata and Pogba. And Pogba and Mata are taking them into areas they don't want to go into, and that's leaving key areas then and spaces for other midfield players to go and get at the 2 centre-backs. It's fantastic movement.
Rashford onto Pogba, who brushes aside Shawcross, gets to the byline, comes infield, now tries to take on the retreating Glenn Johnson, plays it against Shawcross Pogba, but then falls over and nicks it behind, and it goes away for a goal kick to Stoke City. 4 minutes played. You're listening to Talk Sport. It's Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0, but Manchester United have certainly started with a little bit of hunger, and they've had the best chance of the game.
Yeah, we've seen Pogba that instance. Okay, he's gone out for a goal kick for Stoke City, but he was the furthest player forward for Manchester United. And what Ibrahimovic does really well, he drags the centre-backs deep as well, so they go with him. And then there's huge spaces in behind which Pogba loves to get into, and for a centre-back it's very difficult, because if you go with Ibrahimovic there's a big space in behind you. If you don't go with him, then he gets the ball and turns and feeds in the runners. So that's where it's important that your 2 defensive midfielders in Jeff Cameron and Glenn Whelan are switched on and communicating constantly with the 2 centre-backs.
Cameron is one of those players who's what you label a versatile player, playing alongside Glenn Whelan, both of them very deep at the heart of the Stoke City midfield. And one of the big problems that they have had over the last little while is scoring goals. They don't score goals. United defence might be hoping for an easy day again today. Just 11 goals in the last 12 matches, Stoke City. The whole thing is a hangover from last season, but even Wilfred Bonney, who they brought in up front as the target man, has yet to get off the target so far this season. The ball is out of play on this near side. It's cleared upfield by De Gea and then headed out by Shawcross and away for a throw-in. Mourinho's turned round, had a word with 1 or 2 who are sitting on the bench, asking a few questions as Blint prepares to take the throw. He launches it down the left. It's picked up by Rashford, tapped back in field towards Pogba. First time ball, looking for Lingard. Lingard's got Rashford in support. He's overhit that and pushed Rashford wide towards the corner flag. He's retrieved it now, the Manchester United man. He's moved infield towards Glenn Johnson. Hands it off to Lingard. In the left wing position, Blint joins now and gives it to Rashford. Rashford runs up towards Glenn Johnson again, tries to tease him, helps him towards Mata. Flicks up off of Mata. There's a claim of handball inside the penalty area. Took a little flick, I think, off of Peters, and then it's cleared away. It might have been Shawcross who it came off of, actually, and cleared it away towards the halfway line. We'll try and see a replay of that. 6 minutes gone, 0-0, Manchester United against Stoke. And Manchester United winning a free kick midway inside opposition territory. A push by Peters in the chest of Pogba, and a free kick has been given. It was a soft one, that. Here's a chance that Manchester United was screaming, but they wanted handball here.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch from Mata on Eric Peters. I think it would have been, I think it would have been very harsh to give that against him.
Ball is out on the right-hand side with Herrera back to halfway. 0-0 the score on TalkSport, live in the sunshine at Old Trafford. Beautiful day today, bit cold and crisp, but clear blue sky above the Sir Alex Ferguson stand opposite us. Ball played down the right by Herrera, hoping that Valencia was going to come in off the right touchline. He didn't, and it rolls out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Well, the problem that Stoke City are having, so early in this game is the whole of the midfield are dropping really deep. They're having to drop really deep because Manchester United are having so much possession, and in terms of Bonny, he's probably a good 30-35 yards away from anyone else. So if they do get the ball up to him, he's not only going to have Bay and Smalling, he's also going to have a Herrera around him, so it's going to be difficult for Stoke City to get out.
And he has just nodded the ball on to Joe Allen from a goal kick from goalkeeper Lee Grant. Allen's done well, the former Liverpool man, to hold on to the ball, jink past two Manchester United players before giving it to Johnson. Johnson edge of the centre circle, flies the ball out to Arnautovic, who's on the left-hand side. He moves towards the penalty area. First time ball into the box, looking for Bonny. It's cut out by Bonny's international teammate Eric Bailly and cleared upfield. But it's now retrieved by Cameron, who's trying to turn and shoot from the edge of the penalty area. He does just that. It's straight down the middle of David De Gea's goal, and he smothers it in front of the scoreboard end away to our right-hand side, and it remains 0-0. That was good defending by Bailly to get in front of Bonny just as that cross was flashed in from Arnautovic.
Yeah, it was fantastic play initially from Arnautovic to get down the side of Lynch and then get the cross in, and that came about because what Stoke City had done, they'd had a deep, they'd had the ball deep, but then they got players up and around Bonny, and he was able to win the ball and get it out to Arnautovic. But like you say, fantastic defending from Bailly at the near post.
A push by Joe Allen with his hair long and his scruffy beard being pinned back by a hairband. He shoves Herrera and gives away a free kick deep inside Manchester United territory. United pulled themselves out of a sticky patch with a win over Northampton. They did lose 3 in a row before that, but they've won 7 of their 10 games this season. It's not a bad ratio by any stretch of the imagination, as Rashford goes chasing into the left corner, beaten to it by Glenn Johnson. It's out of play and away for a throw-in away to our left-hand side. Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Remember, you can watch more Premier League games on Sky Sports than ever before this season. Mark Hughes just takes a little tiptoe towards the edge of his technical area, says a few words to Bonny. He's got a dark suit on today, Mark Hughes. Almost white hair now, as he stands with his arms now on his hips, watching Glenn Johnson throw the ball back into play. It's up towards Allen, but cut out by Herrera. It's a poor clearance by Bruno Martins Indy, and then Arnautovic is dawdling, and Valencia robs him, runs down the right side. Peters comes across, he's beaten to it. Arnautovic makes up for his error, gets in front of Valencia. Oh no, he's given the ball away inside the area again, and Valencia's cross isn't accurate to find the red shirt, and it's hacked away by Cameron, who is retreating just in front of Mata, inside the box and out for a throw-in. Manchester United come again. It's with Herrera, another cross into the box, looking for Ibrahimovic. Was a little shoved there by Shawcross. He was certainly surrounded by 2 blue shirts there, Ibrahimovic, and eventually it's clattered away and out of play up by the halfway line. But that was a mistake by Martins Indy initially to give the ball away, and then, well, Arnautovic was a little bit casual.
He did really well in the first place because he covered Peters, who'd been beaten, and he just tried to shepherd the ball out to make sure Valencia couldn't get it, but Valencia used his strength and did get to it. And it's just something like I say in these situations, when you're talking about getting back to basics, don't give a team like Manchester United, don't give them an invitation, don't give them an opportunity because of a mistake that you've made as a team or as an individual.
0-0. Manchester United looking to go within 3 points of Manchester City a little bit later on today. Remember, we've got that game live for you, Spurs against City. It kicks off just after 2:15 And that's live on Talk Sport and all the games that are going on in the Premier League today. Burnley against Arsenal and Leicester Southampton will be covered right here on the new home of live football. Ball is on the right hand side, picked up by Valencia for Manchester United, into Lingard, who turns it back to Mata. Mata under pressure from Allen, plays the ball back to Herrera, gets it back again off the Spaniard, and all of a sudden Manchester United have got away from a tight grasp of Stoke City pressure and moved the ball out towards this left hand side where Blint has it now. Infield to Ibrahimovic, who's dropped really deep to pick up the ball. He's now run from the left side of the centre circle up towards the edge of the box. He slipped it down the left looking for Rashford, blocked by Glenn Johnson, and then cleared away up to Xherdan Shaqiri. Very stocky Xherdan Shaqiri, almost as wide as he is tall. Sends the ball back into Allen. There's a real hefty challenge from Valencia over on the far side, who went sliding in and took the legs of Eric Peters away, and he's the first booking of the game.
Yeah, it was a late challenge from Valencia. I think he thought he could get there, but Peters was quicker to it than him. I think the referee, Owen Madley, he had no other option. It was a definite yellow card.
It was a definite yellow card.
Putting it politely, I think.
It was a hefty challenge from Antonio Valencia. Went sliding across the floor, and poor old Eric Peters ended up almost level with the roof of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand before coming crashing down to the floor. Free kick given over on the far side, 2 yards in from the touchline. Stoke have it with Peters, who flights the ball out towards the edge of the United box, hooked away by Rashford, and it's out on this near side. Rashford going to be in the England squad, we reckon, later on today. Right, Cole?
100%. I think he's got to be. I think he's been absolutely sensational for Manchester United, and there's an element of real naivety about him in the nicest possible sense. He doesn't feel pressure. He's still that young age where he's going out and playing with a real sense of freedom, and he's loving it, and he looks right at home in Manchester United's first team. And if you're in Manchester United's first team looking as comfortable as he is, then you have to be in that England squad.
Quentin Fortune was telling a story about how when he was 13 years of age, Marcus Rashford, he came in training with the first team, was taking players on, doing flicks, tricks, Ronaldo and Messi-esque. Looked like Ronaldinho, he said at one stage, but we haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen his raw pace, but there's more to come apparently. Here's Allen into the penalty area. Oh, it comes back to the edge of the box where Cameron's arriving. He shoots low towards the goalkeeper's right, and it's caught by David De Gea, and that was a counter-attack by Stoke City that was really dangerous. And do you know what, Danny? It reminded me of a couple of goals that Manchester United have conceded recently, one against Northampton and one against Feyenoord, where they leave someone on the edge of the penalty area arriving late, who ends up getting a free shot on goal.
Yeah, and I think when Jeff Cameron sees that again, he's fallen lovely to him about 16 yards out. He'll be disappointed. I think he should score from there.
Absolutely.
Initially, it's fantastic build-up play between Shaqiri and Allen. Allen finds himself free, gets to the byline, puts a great ball in. Bonnie's not able to get it. It avoids him. But then just on the edge of the 18-yard box, like I say, there's no one near Cameron either. He'll be disappointed that he didn't find the back of net, because that was a great opportunity for Stoke.
Well, 14 minutes gone. That's Stoke City's first real chance of the game, and they should have converted it. They haven't. Manchester United have had one good chance through Ibrahimovic. He missed his opportunity when faced one-on-one with Lee Grant, the goalkeeper, and it's still 0-0 here at Old Trafford on this sunny Sunday afternoon on Talk Sport, where we've got a double header of live commentaries for you. Sam Adderface and Danny Higginbottom at Old Trafford. Lovely touch. Here's Pogba in front of the Stretford end to slide it home. No, he slides it wide. Well, it was a beautiful bit of build-up on the edge of the penalty area. Ibrahimovic played it in towards the edge of the box. Lingard with a little flick. It came inside across the 18-yard line to Pogba. Pogba found himself one-on-one with Lee Grant. He surely only had to stroke it home. It was a lovely flick by Ibrahimovic to Lingard, who passed it first time into the path of the Frenchman, and he should have finished. He should have buried it. He didn't. He steered it wide.
That's brilliant football from Manchester United. Mata and then Ibrahimovic and Lingard link-up was great. And Pogba, once again, making that run the furthest man forward, and it's difficult for centre-halves to track him, and that is a great opportunity for him. That's another one. They're looking to be disappointed they didn't put the ball into the back of the net, but the movement from Manchester United, Ibrahimovic is creating so much space for the runs of Pogba in particular by dragging the centre-halves into areas they don't want to go into, and Pogba almost getting beyond Ibrahimovic every single time, and no one's tracking him.
Great chance for Manchester United. It should really have scored 2 goals in the game, but they haven't, and it's still 0-0 on Talk Sport. Well, there's no way that Manchester United were going to be turned around from the Louis van Gaal team into champions overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. But the stats have not been kind to Mourinho. He's lost 12 of the last 24 games in the Premier League as a manager. He lost 12 of the previous 110 league encounters as a top-flight boss. Free kick given to Manchester United, 6 yards outside the penalty area. Bobby Madley trying to stamp his authority on proceedings. There was a little nudge there by Arnautovic on Lingard. He also got one of his hands into Arnautovic's right eye. Arnautovic seems to be okay and is moving freely once more as Manchester United come through the centre of the pitch, through the centre circle up to Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic back to Smalling to Herrera. Herrera just rather slowly meanders over halfway, shifts it off towards Valencia, now on to Mata, who's deeper inside the Stoke City half. Back to Herrera. Herrera looks up. United keeping possession well here, just patiently building up as Mata now runs past Allen and moves into a more advanced midfield position inside the Stoke half. Shifts it on to Blint, now further onto the left where it's with Rashford, who comes inside Johnson, past Johnson, speeds past him towards the byline, goes past Cameron, pulls it back into the 6-yard box. Ibrahimovic flicks it on into an open penalty area. No one there apart from the retreating Whelan, and he hooks it up towards the halfway line. That was started by Rashford. Great turn of pace and a bit of skill as Herrera comes forward for Manchester United again. 0-0 at Old Trafford. Here it's Valencia. A couple of steps forward, deep into Stoke territory now. They're all camped on the edge of the penalty area, Stoke City's players, as United come forward with Pogba, holding off the defender Peters. Back to Herrera, loops across into the box, and unchallenged, Glenn Johnson can just chest that down and back into the arms of Lee Grant.
It's good play once again from Manchester United, and the cross comes in, and Rashford, I think he's stayed too wide there. I think if he then goes to try and get at Johnson, he can at least attack him because it's a good ball to the far post. But for me, Manchester United, when they're going forward, I think the big difference so far for me when you look at this season compared to last season is the movement off the ball. I think there's some great movement off the ball, and there's so many more players available to get the ball.
And a bit more tempo in the final third as well, which was certainly lacking at times last season.
Definitely. I think what we found last season is that Van Gaal wanted his centre forward to stay high, and at times they found it difficult to get the ball to him, whereas we've seen with Ibrahimovic is coming to the halfway line, he's stretching the game, and what that does causes major problems because centre halves of the opposition don't know whether they should be marking him or the defensive midfielder should.
Rashford to Herrera, back to Rashford again, who tries to run at Shawcross. He does run at Shawcross, who came across and nudges the ball out of play on this near side. It's away for a throw. He frightens defenders, and just what you're saying there, the very fact they played a 1-2 round Glenn Johnson, got Rashford into a left wing position, means Shawcross had to come across, and then that meant that there was space in the centre. Here is Rashford in towards the near post with a sort of cross-come shot. Wasn't the best delivery, and he apologises to Ibrahimovic for that, and it's gobbled up by Lee Grant, the Stoke City goalkeeper, away to our left, wearing all bright orange today. Lee Grant, who only made his Premier League debut last week on loan from Derby. I think, all due respect to Shea Given, but I think they decided at the end of last season, beginning of this, that he wasn't going to be able to cut it if Jack Butland was going to be around on the treatment table for even longer than they first anticipated.
He's been a fantastic keeper, Shea Given, and there's any doubt about that, but from Mark Hughes' point of view, he wanted to get another goalkeeper in, and he's had to do that because of what's happened to Butland. And I know Lee Grant a little bit, and as a young lad there was high expectations of him to play in the Premier League when he was at Derby, but it didn't come to fruition. But he's still a very good goalkeeper, and he's made 2 outstanding saves so far, when Ibrahimovic were probably disappointed that he didn't score early on.
Well, Stoke have already conceded 15 goals in their 6 games so far, so the idea that it's going to finish 0-0 would probably be a little bit far-fetched. And one of the reasons they bought Lee Grant in was because they had been conceding too many goals.
And the problem is as well, in the 6 games that they've played, they've conceded the first goal 5 times. So it's very, very tough. You've got no platform to build off. Whereas you look at this game, and I think Mark Hughes will be relatively happy. Okay, Manchester United had a few chances and should have scored, but they haven't scored. So Stoke City still have something to hold on to, because as the game goes on, and the more it stays 0-0, the more the desperation goes onto the side of Manchester United, and that's where Stoke City and Mark Hughes will believe that they will probably leave gaps behind them then.
21 on the clock. This is Talk Sport. It's 0-0. Manchester United coming forward though. Blint up towards Mata. Mata pokes it away from Shawcross, who takes a tumble. Comes back out to Rashford left side. Now Pogba, Mata inside the area. First time ball into him. The Spaniard tries to turn, then chip the goalkeeper, and he just sees the ball start to dip as it reaches the crossbar, and then a big right hand of Lee Grant comes out and fingertips it over the top and out for the second corner of the game.
It's fantastic from Mata. And once again, great build-up play. Rashford, Pogba, and then Mata involved, and he just gets onto his left foot and he sees Grant off his line, and it's going into the back of the net. He has to tip it over the bar, but once again the two centre halves for Stoke City being dragged into places that they don't want to go into.
Manchester United had a good time with corners against Leicester last week. Here's Blint delivering the ball towards the far post, and it's headed down by Pogba and wide. Well, where on earth did Paul Pogba come from there? He got in between Peters and Bruno Martin Indy at the far post. He was unmarked. He got a firm header down towards goal, and it was narrowly off target. That could have been 3-0.
He has to score. I think it's Stoke City once again. You know, they've got a couple of players marking, but the majority of them is zonal marking, and Pogba, there's not a Stoke City player within 2 yards of him, and that cannot happen. There's such a threat in the box, and that's another situation. Pogba will look at that one. That should have been a goal for Manchester United, because that's another great opportunity.
That's a super opportunity. A free header from a corner, and Manchester United still haven't scored, despite the fact that they've had 3 absolutely nailed-on opportunities in the game so far. It remains Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0. Let me bring you the latest odds from Betfair, Sunday Exclusive's official betting partner on Talk Sport. Manchester United 11-4 on to go and win the game. Stoke 9-1. The draw 10-3. Cash out on single or accumulator bets to take your winnings before the end of the match with Betfair. Available on selected markets. Conditions apply. Try betfair.com or download the app today. Please gamble responsibly. You're listening to Talk Sport. Remember, a little bit later on today we'll bring you live commentary of Spurs against Manchester City. Burnley against Arsenal is a little bit later as well. And then at 4 o'clock this afternoon, just 4:30 this afternoon, we'll keep you in touch with the later game. Leicester and Southampton. This is Talk Sport. It's 0-0 here, but Manchester United will be scratching their heads thinking, how are we not in front in the game? Here's Smalling, onto Herrera. Herrera travels forward, releases Lingard. There's loads of space for Lingard to run into. Tries to slip it into the right channel for Pogba to chase on to, but Bruno Martins Indy steps out and intervenes.
That's a similar situation again. Lingard and Pogba swap positions then. Pogba makes the run forward. The two centre-backs then don't want to go with Lingard, who's dropping off, and he finds himself in so much space to be able to turn.
Chance to counter-attack for Stoke, though. It's broken down with Blint. It's picked up by Shaqiri, and then Herrera is there doing what Herrera has done when he's come into the team, breaking up counter-attacks and helping out the Manchester United defence. But here's Allen onto Bonny, poor pass, easily cut out by Valencia, who comes in from the right full-back area and gobbles it up on the edge of the D, and Manchester United have possession again. Excellent work from Ander Herrera to stop that counter-attack.
Well, it is fantastic, and what that does is that I think the reason he works so well in that position is because, yes, he can protect the defence very well, but he can also start attacks as well. He's a fantastic passer of the ball, and if you look at him, he's to a certain extent a younger version of Carrick. I think in the way that he plays, he can slow or speed the game up, which is so vital in Premier League games when sometimes the games are 100 miles an hour. He just puts his foot on the ball and everything just calms down a little bit.
It's got to be him or Carrick playing in that position. We saw Fellaini play there on Thursday night. It didn't work.
Well, I think the problem is with Fellaini, one of his big strengths is not passing the ball. So I think players would be fearful of making the run in case he loses it. Whereas with Herrera, I think more often than not, I think he's not going to lose the ball.
Given away in midfield. Manchester United now having to retreat because Stoke are coming forward with Arnautovic left-hand side into the centre, and Bonny. His control is absolutely abysmal, and it's picked up by Ander Herrera, but then given away because Rashford turned his back on it and Johnson nipped in, and now it's retrieved by Whelan. He swirls the ball out towards the left-hand side, and then Arnautovic tries one from distance, a curler towards the far post, but he's right underneath it, and he hits it high into the scoreboard end, and it's out for a goal kick. Well, a couple of passages of play there where both teams were a little bit sloppy. Wilfried Bonny, terrible control midway inside the Manchester United half, and then Rashford just got a little bit caught as the ball was played behind him. He had his back to the ball and didn't know exactly where it was, and ended up getting his pocket pilfered by Glenn Johnson.
Well, I think the thing is with Stoke City, there's been a couple of times now where they've won the ball back from Manchester United at the halfway line, and because Manchester United have got so many forward-thinking players and so many runners, if Stoke are winning the ball back in particular in that area. Valencia's going near enough to the right wing, so Arnautovic can have time and space, which is exactly what happened then. Glenn Whelan picked the ball up and played it to Arnautovic, come inside on his favoured right foot, but got the shot completely wrong. But I think that's what Stoke City will be looking at, thinking their opportunities that we will have on the counter-attack, because they've got players that can cause problems to any defence in the Premier League.
Talk Sport live at Old Trafford, and it's been okay, and there's been a bit of incident at both ends, but Manchester United are very, very much in control of the game. So far in control of the game. They've dominated possession of the football. They've certainly had the best chances in the match, but they don't lead. It's still 0-0. Here's Ibrahimovic, who's had one of those chances and missed it. Down the left he goes. He's got Bruno Martins Indy for company. Martins Indy's shadowing him, but Ibrahimovic has gone past him and sent the ball in towards the near post, and Rashford is arriving. And what a save that was from Lee Grant, down to his right to nudge that ball behind and away round the post. It might have actually have been Jesse Lingard who burst towards the near post to tap that towards goal. Either way, it was a great chance. Rashford, edge of the area from the corner flag, sends the ball in towards Smalling, cut out by Allen. What a great save that was from Lee Grant.
That's an incredible save. He's been Stoke City's best player so far. The couple of saves that he's made, he had no right to save that one. Ibrahimovic does really well down the left-hand side, gets the better of Martins Indy. It's a great ball in with the outside of his right foot, and Lingard's in the right place at the right time. But for Stoke City, so was Grant as well. Great save.
It was a super save by Lee Grant. It needed to be. And Manchester United still can't find a way through. Here is Herrera onto Lingard. Lingard in the centre circle now for Manchester United, up to Pogba, being hassled and harried by Eric Peters, the Dutchman. Stoke really haven't progressed much further than a couple of yards outside their own half in the game so far. They should have had a chance of scoring when Cameron missed an opportunity, but apart from that, David De Gea has hardly had to do anything in the game. Here's Lingard down the right. We've played 28 minutes. Talk Sport. Pogba tries to move the ball infield. He bounces off of the first challenge, which is Cameron. The ball runs to Herrera. Herrera now is just outside the centre circle when he turns it into Mata. Mata's got loads of space here to decide what he wants to do with it. He runs forward, faced up by Peters, comes infield. He's now 10 yards outside the box in the dead centre of the Stoke half. Plays it on to Pogba. Pogba to Herrera. Herrera goes to shoot. It's blocked by Allen, and then it runs up to halfway, and Smalling, unhurried or unfussed by the attentions of Wilfred Bonney, who's sweating buckets, by the way. You can see him sweating through his shirt, doesn't reach the ball, and it's cleared by United up down the right towards Ibrahimovic now, who takes on three players. One of them is Arnautovic, who eventually robs him of possession, and from the left full-back position, Arnautovic has got to do something here, because Mata is really harrying and chasing, and because of that pressure they've given the ball away, and Mata's got it back now off of Pogba. Pogba edge of the area, goes to shoot, instead he clips the ball over the top of the defence. It's headed away by Shawcross, and Manchester United have it back again on the right side. It's relentless pressure. Mata tries to turn it into the box once again, blocked this time by Whelan, comes back out as far as Herrera. Again they go and put the red press on this light blue Stoke City shirted defence, away by Peters, comes back out as far as Bonney. Bonney then elbows Herrera, and the ball runs loose, and Whelan is allowed to take it through the centre circle, and Manchester United just for a second have lost possession. It's back with Johnson down the right, and then across comes Blint, intervenes, puts it out of play, and it's away for a throw inside the Stoke City half. I mean, that was just non-stop.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're a defending team, you're under so much pressure, you drop deeper and deeper and deeper. And the one thing is, which Manchester United are starting to do a little bit more now, quite naturally, the deeper you drop, the more narrow you get, and you leave space in the wide areas, and that's exactly what Manchester United have done. You know, we saw the opportunity that Lingard had, where there was a fantastic save from Grant. That was Ibrahimovic getting down the sides of the pitch.
Nearly half an hour gone. You're listening to Talk Sport. Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0. And I mean, that is a startling scoreline, really, when you look at the chances that Manchester United have had in the game. But Stoke have held firm, haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 16 games. Here down the right is Lingard. Lingard with a cross. Ibrahimovic far post in towards the near post, and tucked away by Shawcross. Well, it may well have come back off of Ibrahimovic after that, but it was a super run down the right from Lingard. It was a lovely delivery, and then Zlatan Ibrahimovic hit it against the defender. It came back off of the Swede and then goes out for a goal kick, but another big chance for Manchester United. Angle was a bit tight.
It was, and it's good defending from Shawcross, but as we touched on about a minute ago, we're talking about Stoke City dropping deep, and the deeper you drop as a defensive back four, you become more narrow, and we've already seen now 2 great opportunities for Manchester United getting the ball into wide areas, and that's something that it's very difficult for Stoke to do. The only way they're going to become stronger down the sides is if they're brave enough to push that little bit higher, but at the moment, because they're playing so deep, the back four want to keep compact, so there's spaces down the sides of the 2 fullbacks.
And the lightning quick speed of Rashford and Lingard is causing problems for Stoke City. Jose Mourinho will be scratching his head as to how his team aren't in front. Here's Shaqiri, tries to play the ball off of Blint, does play the ball off of Blint. Blint have a quick word with the assistant on this near side, just to say, look, he keeps backing into me, what else am I supposed to do? Ball thrown in by Johnson to Allen, and then Glenn Whelan just whacks the ball as hard as he possibly can into the sky. It lands on the edge of the United penalty area, a header away by Valencia, and now it's collected on the far side by Valencia. I think just had a little nibble at Arnautovic there, and that's going to be a free kick to Stoke City, the visitors. And Valencia's got to be a little bit careful because he's already been booked.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bobby Madley gave the free kick, and then he just went up to Valencia, with his, suggesting with his arms, just calm down because you have already been booked.
Free kick to be taken then, halfway inside the Stoke City half. It's Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0. And Stoke on the attack here, a chance to swirl this towards the penalty area that Manchester United are defending. David De Gea standing on the edge of his 6-yard box, everyone back for Manchester United, away by Pogba as it's swirled in by Shaqiri, then headed down towards Martins Indy, and then hooked clear by Smalling before it can reach the Dutchman, and it's out on the far side and away for a throw. Stoke on the attack. They haven't done much of that in this first 33 minutes of the game. Forward by Peters, up to Allen. Allen trying to get away from Herrera. Arnautovic back to the halfway line, and Peters then on to Allen. Allen tries to get away from Herrera and does, and then plays it down the left. Arnautovic with the chance to cross here. He gets the ball low into the box. Bailly is there. He turns and flicks the ball behind, and it's away for Stoke City's first corner of the game.
I think most of the danger when Stoke are going forward is down the left-hand side when they get the ball to Arnautovic. Valencia obviously a little bit wary now because he's been booked, but not just that, he's playing near enough as a right winger, and Lingard is the one at times tucking in. So there is space if they can get the ball to Arnautovic out on that left-hand side.
Go on City is the cry from the 3,500 Stoke supporters away to our right-hand side as the corner comes in from Shaqiri. It's headed away by Ibrahimovic, flicked away by Rashford, who now races and runs towards the left-hand side and picks up the ball and then takes it out of play, basically as far away from danger as possible, gives away a throw-in, but stops any chance of Stoke turning the ball over quickly and getting back on the front foot. A sensible play from such a youngster. Throw-in to be taken on the near side. TalkSport live at Old Trafford, where it's Manchester United 0, Stoke 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Watch all 7 Sky Sports channels anywhere you like on Sky Go on your compatible mobile, tablet or laptop. Whelan flicking the ball out to the left. Arnautovic with his dyed bleached blonde hair takes it out of the sky elegantly and then comes in field, and there's just a little bit of confidence about Stoke for the first time in the game as Allen plays it out to the left to Peters onto Shaqiri, left wing position for Stoke to attack. Across goes Bailly. He's come out from the centre half position right out to the far side to harry and harass Shaqiri. He's then continued and tried to challenge Arnautovic, but the ball is back with Shaqiri far side the Stoke City left. And now it's with Peters, back to Arnautovic. Arnautovic coming in field, being pursued by Lingard. He swirls the ball into the box. I mean, it was a useless ball in. He's just hit that and hope, really, Arnautovic. So high, so flighty, no chance of reaching anyone in a blue jersey, and it just goes straight into the scoreboard end and out for a United goal kick.
Wasn't the greatest ball from Arnautovic. Like you said, there was only Bonnie that was in the box as well, and I just think that the more Stoke City can get the ball to Arnautovic, he seems confident every time he goes at Valencia. He could be the main threat for Stoke City because we know he's a very talented player, and if he's in the mood, it will cause problems for any fullback, and he's done that a few times already for Valencia. Jose
Mourinho will know all about him from their days together at Inter Milan. Here's Mata out to the left, Pogba onto Rashford now outside the Stoke penalty area, sends it left towards Blint. The idea was absolutely spot on, the execution was not. He rolled the ball down the edge of the 18-yard box. Blint was a little bit further back, and he was never going to catch it.
I think basically in the first instance, Rashford used the run of Blint and then took inside to give himself an extra few seconds, and I think when he'd done that, Blint thought, right, he's going to go inside now, but Rashford was all along trying to play the ball down the side of the fullback, but Blint,
he wanted to play the little reverse, didn't he?
they were on a different wavelength, but like you say, once again, it's good movement from Manchester United.
Yeah, when it clicks, and it will click at some point in the game, you know, you'll see something from Manchester United and applaud, because they've carved out 3 or 4 really good chances in the game already, and they should be in front. They're not, and it's still 0-0, and you're listening to Talk Sport. And Stoke too have threatened on 1 or 2 occasions, just given a few warning signs to Jose Mourinho and his team. Listen, if you don't put this game to bed, if you don't get in front in the match, then you could end up having a bit of a sticky afternoon. Ball cleared by Lee Grant, up only as far as the halfway line, where it's with Bailly, and then back to Valencia, who impressed all through pre-season at right back and has ended up cementing that position as first choice number 2. Here's Ibrahimovic trying to turn it round the corner for Mata. A little flick header by Peters. It's going to run out of play and go for a corner here, and that was an intelligent ball by Ibrahimovic, and Peters didn't really know how to deal with it, and the pressure from Mata right up on his shoulder forced him into giving away the corner.
Just once again, it's the running off the ball, you know, as always from Manchester United. They are causing problems. People and players get in beyond Ibrahimovic every time.
Here's the corner from Mata in towards the centre of the goal, where it's picked up by Ibrahimovic. Can't get the header in. Comes out as far as Lingard, who tries to shot. It's blocked and repelled away. Back in by Blint now, down the left side. Rashford is there to receive it. Now Blint again, taking it infield towards Bay. Stoke not getting out fast enough. Out towards the right-hand side is Herrera with a chance to cross. It's a low one into the box, which is easily cleared away by Martins Indy. And now a chance to counter-attack, led by Joe Allen of Stoke City, to move towards the edge of the centre circle on the halfway line. He's trapped by Smalling. Referee says play on. Actually, Allen can't believe he didn't get a free kick, but he hasn't got one. Onside Ibrahimovic, down the left touchline, played in by Rashford, gets towards the byline. Can he pull it back inside the area? Does a couple of tricks, hands it off to Blint instead. He lays it back to Pogba. Pogba stretching to try and reach it, and then took it away from Mata as he fell. And the ball goes all the way into the arms of Lee Grant, rather fortuitously for Stoke City, who are still complaining about that foul, in inverted commas, on Joe Allen, Danny Higginbottom.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually Smalling, and I think initially it does look like he's been touched, but he's actually tripped over his own feet. There's nothing near him, and I think that if Manchester United would have scored from that, Hughes would have been absolutely furious. But when he saw the replay, he realised that
no foul,
he's not even been touched.
No foul. He looks angry, he looks annoyed, he's aggrieved with referees, he's not happy about referees. He thinks that Stoke City get a raw deal from referees, and maybe they do. You know, the old adage, they even themselves out over the course of the season. It isn't true, because they don't. But I don't think anyone gets a rawer deal than anybody else. The referees are very fair, and they know that, you know, they're giving decisions they think are correct, and that certainly was one that was correct. I know that he was upset that he didn't get 2 penalties last week, Mark Hughes, when Eric Peters twice thought that he should have been given a spot kick. Bailly looks as if he'd won the ball off of Joe Allen, and the referee has given a free kick in Stoke City's favour this time, and that looked a little bit soft too.
Yeah, he did. I think Bailly just used his strength on Allen, but I think from the referee's point of view there, he's probably looking and thinking he's made the challenge from behind, but he won the ball.
Did he come from the bottom? Oh, it was come from the side there to nick the ball. He definitely got the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. But what you see most times now, if a player makes a challenge from behind, more often than not, the referee's gonna give a foul whether you win it or not.
Okay, free kick taken by Stoke anyway, and given straight back to Manchester United, who haven't taken the lead in the game despite having numerous chances. It is 0-0, and while it's 0-0, the game can go either way. Whelan and Pogba have been caught in a big clash down in front of the technical areas. Whelan has been penalised for that. The Stoke fans not happy about it at all. They think that should have been a free kick against Pogba.
I think what Glenn Whelan's saying is that because it's a late challenge on Pogba, but Whelan had nothing to do with it really. He's trying to get out of the way, and he's had a big shove in the back from Rashford, which has pushed him into Pogba and made the challenge look a lot worse than what it was.
Free kick taken and given, and Manchester United chasing it now down into the right channel. Can't get hold of it, Jesse Lingard, despite his rapid speed, and it runs off of the pitch and goes behind and away for a goal kick to Stoke City. Well, it's intriguing, isn't it? because this game at the moment is finely balanced. I mean, Manchester United so far in charge of it, you know, and the dominant team in the game without a shadow of a doubt, but yet they haven't made the breakthrough.
No, and I think Mark Hughes, of the two managers, he'll be the one that's in a better place. I think he'll be happier with the performance, because they are 0-0, whereas Manchester United, you know, you have so many chances, and if you miss chances, the opposition's always going to get a chance. It's just whether they can take it. And, you know, Manchester United, they could have had 2 or 3 goals. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And there's only really been, you know, Lee Grant, that you would say has been the one that's kept the score at 0-0.
I mean, if you were Mark Hughes, I'm sure you would have been working on the training ground every single moment since they lost 4 goals in a row 3 times or whatever it was. You'd be working on defensive shape. But, I mean, you go in at half-time thinking, look, so we still gave them opportunities, lads, but if you can keep tight, then we've got a chance in this game.
That's what it all comes down to. It comes down to being patient, because at some point in the game, Manchester United, if it remains 0-0, we'll get a little bit more desperate. And Stoke have just got to be ready to strike when Manchester United players get out of position, because they're so desperate to get that goal. But from Stoke City's point of view, it's all about staying switched on, keeping the concentration, because all it needs is one player out of position, and before you know it could be 1-0.
Here is Lingard onto Ibrahimovic, edge of the D, shifts it onto his left foot. This could be a chance for Manchester United. Well, he's hit the ball against Martins Indy, and then it's come loose on the edge of the penalty area, and that was I think an example there of Ibrahimovic taking one too many touches. Here's Herrera inside the Stoke City half, a couple of good turns and to keep hold of the ball. Ibrahimovic tries to funnel it on. He's got some attention from behind from Shawcross. He's encouraged to get up on his feet, despite the fact that he ended up on his backside after a collision with the Stoke City central defender, and Stoke bring it away. It's with Whelan down the right, chasing his Shaqiri, long sleeve shirt on, chest puffed out. Lovely little bits of skill to try and take on Smalling. Smalling, not bamboozled, is sticking to his task. He's holding on to Shaqiri. Shaqiri trying to play it through his legs now, and then Smalling just turns and grabs the loose ball and kicks it clear. Shaqiri went down asking for a foul he wasn't going to get. Bailly is nipped in front of Bonny, as Bonny's brought it down inside the box, and now Manchester United bring it clear. It was good defending again from Bailly. He anticipated that well and pinched that perfectly.
Yeah, and the Manchester United supporters and players as well, they're not happy with Shaqiri. He played the ball through Smalling's legs and just fell over and tried to buy a foul.
Pogba was in a great position there. He's won the ball and sent it out to the right, and now a chance for them to attack with Valencia in the wing position, taking on Peters. Goes on the outside, then just stops, and he's got Herrera running towards the edge of the box, who now meets it, shoots and clatters into the chest of Whelan, and it spins off of Whelan's chest and then goes out for a throw-in by the corner flag over on the far side. 0-0.
Nice, great play from Herrera, just going forward from that defensive midfield position. He knows that Smalling and Bailly, they're looking after.
Here's Pogba, right angle of the penalty area, unleashing a volley which just pops up a little bit in front of him, and he couldn't keep it down, and it goes a yard over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick.
Now Pogba's getting involved every time Manchester United go forward. He's at times the furthest man forward. They've got a good ball into the box, not the greatest of headers out from Martins Indy. Falls nicely to Pogba on the edge of the area on the angle, but he's just not able to keep it down.
There's been a lot of debate about his position and where he is best. I think personally, when he's playing in a 2 in front of Herrera, he's got more licence to get up and down and get involved. He looks better. That was certainly the case against Leicester last week, and I think it's probably followed in a similar vein today.
Well, 100%. I think you hear a lot of people saying I think he'd be better in a number 10. I disagree, because as a number 10 you're going to have your back to goal a lot more. He is much better when he's picking the ball up and striding with it, and I think that's his best position. But like you say, he has to have that dominant defensive midfielder next to him, someone that's going to sit, that gives him that insurance of getting forward, and that's what Herrera does really well. And like I say, that's why it looks for Manchester United more of a 4-1-4-1, because Pogba's getting so high up and Herrera's dropping deep in front of the two centre-backs.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's 4-1, who's Herrera, and then 4 with Mata and Pogba is almost like 2 central midfield players, almost like half advanced central midfield players. We're just coming up to half-time. We're in the final minute of the first half, and it's still 0-0 between Manchester United and Stoke City, the bottom team in the Premier League. Jose Mourinho called Stoke a poisoned gift of a fixture this weekend. He said they are not what the table says. They are a lot better than that. So far they've kept Manchester United at bay, but only just. They've hung on a little bit. 3 or 4 good chances, including a couple for Ibrahimovic, one for Pogba from a corner kick which he really should have scored. Here is Pogba, Ibrahimovic. Lingard was denied by Lee Grant as well. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45. Shaqiri running with the ball, dispossessed by Blint. Maybe one last chance before the whistle goes. Ibrahimovic turns the ball out towards the right. Mata, he's got support arriving. He's taken to the floor by the fullback Peters, but the referee said that was a legal challenge, and Stoke said he can run it clear. This is Talk Sport, 0-0 as we approach half-time. Ball picked up by Mata. Mata in the centre circle, looking for Herrera. Herrera down the right for Lingard. Lingard chasing, but blocked off by Peters, and Martins Indy comes across and clears. Puts it out over the... Now it's by Eric Bailly, and he sends it down the touch. The half-time whistle goes. Now, it was a forgettable 45 minutes, first 45 minutes for Manchester United on Thursday, when they ended up winning by a narrow Ibrahimovic goal to nil. It was a memorable first 45 minutes last week against Leicester. This was probably somewhere in between. They had great chances. Pogba free header, Pogba swiping wide after an Ibra flick, and a lovely little ball in by Lingard. Lingard was denied by Lee Grant, and Ibrahimovic had a chance after two, which really should have put Manchester United in front. None of those things happened, so at the break it's Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0. Cheers, Sags, thank you very much. You know, it's 40 years since Manchester United lost at home to Stoke. Neither Danny or I, well, half the crowd probably, were born then. None of the United squad were, that's for sure. But if Stoke do manage to get anything from this game, then it will be down in no small part to their goalkeeper Lee Grant, who made 3 very good saves in that first 45 minutes. We're off and underway in the second half here. You're listening to Talk Sport. It's Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts, shooting from left to right, and Stoke coming forward in the light blue, shooting towards the Stretford end. And Wilfred Bonney already getting on the ball and trying to take the game to Manchester United, shoved over by Herrera, and a free kick has been given to Stoke City, 11 yards outside the box, just a shade left of centre, and it's a real opportunity this for Arnautovic to whip a ball into the box, or maybe even try and test De Gea.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if he had a shot himself. He did score from a little bit closer in than that. I don't know if it was last year or the year before against Manchester United, a fantastic free kick, so he's full of confidence, there's no doubt about that, so it wouldn't surprise me if he went for a shot. But he does have players up there like Shawcross, Bonney and Martins Indy.
Well, Bonney and Martins Indy are inside the penalty area. Shawcross is at the back post just outside of it. Cameron's in there too. It's actually whipped in towards the far post by Shaqiri, and then Martins Indy reaches it, and then a big right hand of David De Gea stops it from sneaking in. Now, I think maybe the offside flag was up over on the far side, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. But David De Gea didn't know that when he made the save.
No, and he had to stretch. He had to stretch massively to actually get the ball. And yes, there is an offside. Martins Indy's offside, but you'd have to question the marking as well there, because he was left free. But it was close, but definitely the right call from the linesman. He is just offside.
It's a good save by David De Gea, because that's not easy actually, because it's dropping towards the goal, and he knows that there's still a yard behind him. If he doesn't get that up and over the crossbar, that's dropping in.
And I think what makes it even better is that he was backpedaling himself.
Yeah. It remains 0-0. I'll run through the 2-11s for you in just a second. Bobby Madley's given a free kick in Stoke City's favour. They weren't happy about the number of decisions that went against them in that first half, but there's space again here for Bonney, who slips it down the left channel. I mean, he's having a real tough time of it, Wilfred Bonney. He hasn't managed to get into this game. In fact, I don't think I've seen him in a Stoke jersey yet get into a game.
No, I think one thing that Mark Hughes will be a little bit happy about in these first few minutes of the second half is that Bonney, although, like you say, not doing anything when the ball's coming to him, he's taking up some intelligent little movements at the moment, and he's actually got himself in between the two centre-backs and Herrera a couple of times and been able to turn.
0-0. Manchester United with De Gea in goal, Valencia at right back, Bailey and Smalling as the two centre-halves. The left-back is Blint today. Here's Ibrahimovic, edge of the area, onto Pogba. Pogba tried to play a reverse ball blind down the left, but there was no one there in Manchester United red. The ball runs inside the box. Johnson brings it out towards the near side, and then Rashford closes him down. Midfield, Herrera and Pogba. Lingard, Mata and Rashford supporting Ibrahimovic, and United have the ball with Lingard down the right, played in by Valencia, pulls it back, edge of the area, Pogba with a shot, and he pulls it right over the top of the crossbar with a deflection on the way through, which means it goes out for a corner.
Good play from Lingard, and once again it's them wide areas getting down there, that's where they can have the joy. They work a really good 1-2, Lingard and Valencia, and then it's another corner now. Manchester United, Stoke City so far have defended it well, but once again they are zonal, Stoke City.
And there's a clutch of 3 red shirts on the edge of the penalty area running towards the ball now. One of them is Bailly, tries to reach it, doesn't manage to. Herrera shoots from long range and it just dribbles across the floor and goes well wide and out for a goal kick away to our right hand side, and it remains 0-0. Stoke with Lee Grant in goal, who signed for Derby on deadline day because of the continuing problems with Jack Butland. Glenn Johnson, Shawcross, Martins, Indy and Peters the back four, Cameron Whelan and Allen, and then Arnautovic, Bonney and Shaqiri. And you're listening to Talk Sport. I wonder how much of a factor, as the game goes on, the fact that Manchester United are playing 62 hours after the end of their Europa League game will have on the match. We often talk about Thursday night, Sunday. I mean, this is very early Sunday, isn't it?
It is, but I think, you know, with them playing at home, I think that takes a lot out of it. And I don't think, listen, Mourinho may say something about it ends up being a 0-0, but for me, it's not an excuse that's warranted. They've got a good squad. We had the situation with Stoke City where we were in the Europa League. We were travelling to Israel and then playing on the Sunday. And that was completely different because we had a very, very small squad. So a lot of the lads that played on the Thursday would then play on the Sunday.
Well, a lot of the lads who played on Thursday are playing today. 4 changes only from Thursday night. Mata, one of those, has just been tripped on the edge of the centre circle and won a free kick. But as Danny rightly points out, Manchester United played at home on the Thursday and they're playing home today too. A bit difficult in a couple of weeks' time when they go to Fenerbahce.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because I think that the Premier League could help them out. I think what you could do at the start of the season, everybody knows who's going to be in the Europa League, and whenever there's a Europa League game, they play at home next game.
Here's Valencia onto the right. Herrera tries to poke the ball down the right-hand side looking for Valencia. Comes off of the Spaniard despite the fact that he felt he'd won a throw-in. He hasn't, and it's with Stoke City's Eric Peters, who hasn't scored a club goal since 2008. But tried to get 2 penalties last week and failed. And he throws the ball in and Martins Indy will hack it upfield. It goes straight out of play and away for a Manchester United throw-in. Quick glance at the substitutes bench and see who's available for both these two teams. You look at the Stoke bench. Peter Crouch is on there. He's the top scorer, 3 goals so far this season after his performance in the League Cup. John Waters just back from injury. Options available to Mark Hughes. Here's Jesse Lingard trying to keep the ball in down the right hand side. Waited too long to latch on to that. Allowed it to bounce one time too many. And then as he slid towards it, he ended up going off the pitch and down the little camber which takes the water, the surface water off of the pitch and into the sort of moat between the edge of the field and the first row of the supporters away to our right in the scoreboard end. And the Stretford end is that is making the noise away to our left at the moment. Hasn't been a terrific atmosphere here at Old Trafford today. I think always the midday games struggle to sort of engender this Premier League atmosphere that we're so used to up and down the country. I'm sure it hasn't been helped by the fact that Manchester United have missed key opportunities in the game. The ball is down the left with Stoke. Arnautovic trying to get on the end of it. He's tackled by Valencia, but he's done well to hold on to possession here. Travels infield, just shifts it off, hands it off to the USA international Jeff Cameron. Then Johnson, back to Jeff Cameron again, who goes past Pogba and pokes it forward to Arnautovic. His control lets him down, and United get it away momentarily, but charging forward was Cameron. It sort of cannoned off his chest and into the left wing position. He's followed it. Valencia trying to deal with that for Manchester United now, and eventually manages to clear, and he does so very well indeed up towards Pogba, who then finds Ibrahimovic. Shawcross, who's having a good game against Ibrahimovic, ends up taking it off him and then gives away a foul, Ibrahimovic, on Shawcross.
Well, what Stoke City have done, they're playing 4 or 5 yards higher up the pitch. So what that means is that when the ball does go up to Bonney, he's got more support. But it means that the back four as well in the midfield, they're actually closer to the Manchester United players, and that's been evident in these first 5, 6, 7 minutes of the second half.
I'm sure that Shawcross, when he was thinking about playing Zlatan today, was determined to make a bigger impression on him than he did in the game when he played for England against Sweden. Here is Shaqiri swirling the ball into the penalty area, away by Zlatan Ibrahimovic, out to the right side where it's collected now by Whelan. Whelan trying to get to the byline, just about did it as well and kept it in, but gave it straight to Daley Blind. And now a chance to counter-attack, and the rapid speed of Rashford can see the rapid speed of Jesse Lingard, who's onside and cantering forward. Lee Grant's coming out a long way and he's just about going to get there. And he does, and he clears just in front of Lingard, and the ball goes up to halfway, and then Herrera clatters into Joe Allen, and the referee Bobby Madley's not happy about the challenge, and Joe Allen looks a little bit suffering from discomfort, and Herrera's been called away, and I think there's a few Stoke City fans asking for a red card for Ander Herrera. Bobby Madley's only going to give a yellow.
I think first of all it was a good break from Manchester United, but once again Grant, his starting position was excellent, because the pace that Lingard has got, just looking at that challenge again,
that could be a sending off.
You can see exactly why the likes of Shawcross, Whelan, Johnson have gone straight to Bobby Madley, because it is a horrendous challenge.
His studs
He's
are
very,
almost on
very
the
lucky.
groin of Joe Allen.
The only thing you can think is that Bobby Madley's not seeing that probably, because if he has, then that's a red card. He's apologising to him now. But
I wonder also whether or
challenge.
not at full speed that challenge is as bad as it looks, only because it almost looks as if he sort of dangled his leg and then not really connected properly with it.
No, it is, and the more you see it on replays, the worse it looks, because it is an awful challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very high from Ander Herrera, who has been booked. It's still 0-0. Manchester United Stoke on Talk Sport. Here is Eric Peters, low ball into Shaqiri, bit of space, edge of the penalty area. It's in towards Joe Allen. Joe Allen on his right foot, tries to slide it to the far corner, and it's saved by David De Gea. Well, it was a big chance that for Stoke City. Joe Allen scored his first Stoke goal last weekend, and he maybe should have had his second. He got himself into an excellent position, exchanged passes with Arnautovic, who set him up beautifully. He shifted onto his right foot. I thought he was going to bend that in the far corner, but he didn't get enough purchase on the finish, and it was an easy save for De Gea.
Oh, they worked it really well. Joe Allen, who we'd just seen, had been on the wrong end of a poor challenge. He did all the hard work. He wrong-footed small, and it all opened up for him. Then I just don't think he got a good enough contact on his right foot to actually get it down the side of De Gea, and it was a comfortable save in the end for De Gea. But much better from Stoke City. They've started the second half really well, playing a lot higher up the pitch, getting more in contact with the Manchester United players, and therefore when they win the ball back, they've got more players in advanced positions.
Bit more intent about Stoke in the second half. We played 10 minutes of it, and it's still Manchester United 0, Stoke City 0. Ibrahimovic and Shawcross have clashed again, and Ibrahimovic is going to get booked here. And all of a sudden things are just not going Manchester United's way. Just starting to just get a little bit antsy, getting a little bit frustrated, the crowd getting a little bit sort of quizzical as to why they haven't got in front in the game. They had big chances in that first 45. You've got to score them when you have them. They didn't, and now they find themselves with Stoke just growing in confidence a little bit.
Well, I think Mark Hughes would have said to his players before the game, listen, get to half-time 0-0. That's when the frustration will start to set in, not just with the Manchester United players, but with the supporters. And then the second half, try and take the game a little bit more to Manchester United, which is exactly what they've done there. They're getting first to all the second balls at the moment, and they are committing more men forward, and they're getting more support for Bonnie as well when he's getting hold of the ball, and they're looking much more of a threat.
And one thing they will remember, and will be in the back of their mind, it's 16 Premier League games without a clean sheet for Stoke. And Manchester United do have a threat. 57 on the clock. TalkSport live today at Old Trafford. Later on we're back at White Hart Lane with Sags, with Jim and with Ray Houghton as we bring you live commentary of Spurs against Manchester City. And then of course in a couple of weeks we've got some big games for you. Chelsea-Leicester on the horizon very shortly, which is live. And the two England games which are upcoming, we'll make sure we'll keep you in touch with those. We've got live football on Thursday night. It's Wales take on Austria. It's all on TalkSport, your new home of live football. Here is Mata looking for Ibrahimovic. Plays it down the left channel. It's a quick turn and first time ball which was fast and slick, but it was just a little bit too wide for Ibrahimovic. You couldn't reach it, and Lee Grant gobbles it up and clears away. Mata's attitude is spot on, isn't it? It really is. Working hard, encouraging his team, talking to his teammates as Peters now escapes down this left-hand side. Ball into the box, cut out by Smalling. And the Manchester United captain puts it out of play and away for a throw-in front of the man he's taken the armband off, Wayne Rooney, who's now stretching and trying to show intent that he is ready to come on and take his position in this game. Here's Arnautovic down by the corner flag on the left-hand side. Now with Peters. Crouch comes out to warm up. Charlie Adam 2 for Stoke City. Allen trying to turn, does turn, drives the ball into the box. Shaqiri, close control. Bailly is there, manages to clear. Whelan went to hit it, doesn't hit it, hasn't scored a goal since 2011, so there's no reason why he should. And then Pogba retrieves it and takes it off of the toes of Shaqiri and starts to run forward menacingly. He moves to the left, Rashford takes over, it's helped on towards Daley Blind. He's got Ibrahimovic waiting in the centre. Blind crosses, it's blocked initially by Glenn Whelan, then back to Pogba, edge of the penalty area. He'll shoot from distance, it's straight into the arms of Lee Grant, doesn't cause the goalkeeper any problems. And then there's a bit of a wrestling match going on between Peters and Ibrahimovic, and there's a bit of a chat going on between the two, which isn't too friendly either. And the ball is up towards the halfway line, and it's won well by Bailly. And then Mata is fouled by Peters, then has a little bit of a kick out and wants a free kick, gets one. The referee gives it in Manchester United's favour, and it's all getting a bit fractious.
I think the game's opening up a little bit now, and I think it's going to be to the benefit of the game, with Stoke City forcing the issue a little bit more. It means that when Manchester United do attack, there's more space in behind Stoke City's back four, and it's leading to a more open game now, because Stoke City now believe that they're in this game and can get something from it.
Here's Mata from the free kick, left-footed, drives the ball, goal was spilt by Grant. No one there in red can get on the end of it. Ibrahimovic complaining that he thought he should have had the ball played to feet on that occasion, and Mata shouldn't have gone for the shot, but it's certainly one that troubled Lee Grant.
There was some spaces again in between the midfield and the defence when Mata gets it on his left foot. It's a good strike, but like you say, comfortable enough for Grant, and Shawcross was covering in case it was to spill off Grant.
Well, I think Mourinho's a little bit upset that when Bailly went in with a challenge on Arnautovic seemed to leave his elbow in and just catch him in the throat. Didn't really bother Eric Bailly. And it's out of play on this near side and away for a throw-in. Let's quickly go to White Hart Lane, get the team news from our next game, which is live on Talk Sports. Spurs against Manchester City. Here's Talk Sports' Jim Proudfoot.
Well, Danny Rose is back, Sam, as Spurs make 3 changes to the side that won in Moscow. Rose returns in place of Davis. Walker's restored at right back, and Jansen's left out with the informed Son up front. City leave out Gundogan and Clichy, while Nolito suspended. Fernando, Navas and Stones are recalled. Kolarov moves across to left back, and we kick off at 2:15.
Cheers, Jim. Thank you very much. Full live commentary coming on Talk Sport at 2:15, and we'll keep you in touch with the other games in the Premier League up and down the country. Stoke City trying to come off the bottom of the table with a point here. Manchester United would love all three to take them closer to both Spurs and Manchester City. They'd go within 3 of City if they were to win. Of course, they've got a game against City coming up very shortly, which is live on TalkSport. Danny and I will be here for the derby in the League Cup 4th round. Here is Whelan trying to play it back to Peters. Peters being held off by Lingard, and it's out of play and away for a free kick. There's team news at the King Power Stadium as well. Leicester against Southampton. Here's TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
Leicester make one change from Tuesday's win over Porto in the Champions League. Danny Simpson returning for Luis Hernandez at right back. Southampton named the same 11 which won comfortably at West Ham last Sunday. Most of the players were rested in Europe in the week.
Cheers, Jeff. Thank you very much. Free kick to Stoke here. 3 yards in from the touchline. Left-hand side. Swirled in by Shaqiri into the Manchester United penalty area. Stooped and headed away by Bailly, but back into the box towards Martins Indy. De Gea comes out, takes charge of the situation, and then immediately dispatches the ball upfield, trying to catch Stoke cold. Glenn Johnson read it, positioned himself beautifully, and manages to clear.
It's fantastic from Glenn Johnson. A great kick from De Gea, trying to set Lingard free. But I say Glenn Johnson used all his experience and got the ball to Whelan with one touch. And I think that's the thing, because the game's really starting to open up now. I think we've visibly seen Stoke City starting to grow in confidence, taking more chance themselves, the back four pushing higher up. Bonnie now starting to come into the game a little bit more, because when the ball's going up to him, he's got support of Allen, Shaqiri and Arnautovic around him, so he can take a touch of the ball and they lay it off to him.
0-0. Talk Sport live at Old Trafford, with Manchester United trying desperately to get their 8th win of this campaign. Jose Mourinho in his almost like a bubble jacket. It's a bit ill-fitting actually for Jose Mourinho. Usually very well tailored. Standing on his technical area, hands in his pockets. Ibrahimovic tries to win it off of Cameron. Pogba does win it off of Cameron. One of Mata or Pogba is penalised eventually by Bobby Madley, the referee, who wasn't happy about the tenacious way in which they were fighting for it. Pogba, looking rather glum, ends up going back towards the edge of his own penalty area to defend what is now going to be a free kick for Stoke.
Yeah, I don't think it was a foul from Pogba. I think the referee tried to play the advantage, but it was the initial challenge from Mata.
Going to be a free kick for Arnautovic to take. He's got Bonnie to aim at. So Shawcross has gone trotting up from the back. The wry smile from Mark Hughes to Edina Zvetsky, his trusted assistant, as they chat things over in the managerial technical area. Arnautovic's delivery is headed away by Ibrahimovic, back to Whelan, who sends a cross in towards the far post. Daley Blind rises, headed firmly outside the box, collected by Johnson. Down the right it goes, into Shaqiri, skips it through his own heels, then tries to pull it back into the path of Arnautovic. It's blocked by Smalling, and it's out of play and away for a corner kick to Stoke City. It's only their second of the game so far, 0-0. A little bit of pressure coming Manchester United's way, and they've got to hold firm here, because the longer the game goes on, the more pressure Stoke City inflict on them, the more difficult it's going to be for Manchester United to get back in the game should they concede a goal. Ball headed away from the corner kick up towards the halfway line. An easy bit of defending from Manchester United. Johnson tries to recycle it, gives it to Peters. Peters' ball is poor. It goes under play and away for a throw, and I think there's going to be a couple of changes for Manchester United here. Wayne Rooney is about to come on. We'll speak to Don McGuinness in just a second, who's going to tell us all about the substitutions. I wonder whether or not we'll see Anthony Martial as well for a little bit of extra pace. Oh, that's a mistake by Valencia, almost allowed Bonnie to get the better of him, then recovered well, and Manchester United bring it clear. Bailly tight in the right fullback position to Herrera, who hoists it into the air to get it away. Pogba lovely. Mata, brilliant close control. Excellent play to Blind, and Blind onto Pogba, and then back to Blind again, and Manchester United now cantering forward at rapid pace. Cameron does well to hold up Blind momentarily. Pogba comes back in field, being chased by Allen. Good tackle by Joe Allen. And then Manchester United have to retreat to the halfway line. Rooney and Martial are going to come on here. Here's Mata, out to the left, looking for Blind. Blind into the centre, missed by Shawcross, comes through to Ibrahimovic, juggles with it, gives it back to Lingard, then on to Herrera, strikes low towards the goalkeeper's right. He went down quickly, Lee Grant. Don't know whether he would have gone down quickly enough had it have been on target, but it wasn't from Ander Herrera, and it skimmed the outside of the post and goes out for a goal kick.
It's a great first time strike from Herrera, nicely laid off from Lingard, about 23-24 yards out, just wide Grant's right hand side post. Herrera once again, he's been absolutely excellent this afternoon so far.
I think if it was in the corner inside the post, it would have been difficult for Grant to get. Well, here is the substitution. Don McGuinness is on the touchline for us. Dom?
Well, there's going to be a double substitution. Jose Mourinho seems to favour that these days, and the first one to make way for Wayne Rooney is Juan Mata. He's going to get a good ovation as well. Another very decent performance in that number 10 role for Juan Mata, but Wayne Rooney gets his cameo. Rooney, of course, with something of a bizarre assist in the game on Thursday evening against Luhansk, a missed kick that obviously Ibrahimovic put in, and Lingard has made way for Martial, so like for like on that one. So Rooney, Martial enter the fray. Sam.
It just means that Martial goes out to the left and Rashford comes out to the right, Danny, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. They've done that straight away, and I just think that with Rashford, I think it goes back to talking about the pacing in the wide areas. Rashford now on the right hand side, and his first thing, he's going to be looking to get down the side, so just injects that little bit more pace as well, and Rooney just freshening things up.
He's had a go at Glenn Johnson. He's had a bit of joy every now and again. Now we'll go over to the other side and see what Peters is up to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one of the things is, because Stoke City have tried to be strong more than anything through the middle, I think with Rashford being on the right hand side, he'll be able to get more joys in terms of having one-on-ones with Peters and taking it down the side, where Stoke City are probably at the most vulnerable because they're compact in the middle of the field.
Stoke City have an abysmal record here. They usually lose 13 Premier League games in a row, and they haven't won here since 1976 when Peter Shilton was their goalkeeper. That's how long ago it is since Stoke City had joy at Old Trafford. Well, Manchester United have got 22 minutes and 38 seconds to come up with something to earn themselves 3 points. He looks a little bit pensive, Jose Mourinho. He's made a double change. Here's Wayne Rooney, the England captain. He'll still be the England captain, Gareth Southgate says. Here's Ibrahimovic moving the ball forward. tries to run towards the edge of this Stoke penalty area, then shoots from distance towards the far corner, and it wasn't far away. Well, the Swede taking matters into his own hands. He was allowed to travel to within 5 yards of the box. He then got it onto his right foot and lashed the ball goalwards towards the far post, and actually it was closer than you thought.
No, it's a fantastic strike, and I think the thing is with Ibrahimovic, and we've seen it time and time again throughout his career, he doesn't need much backlift. He's got such a powerful shot, and it just goes wide of Lee Grant's left-hand post this time, but that's what Ibrahimovic is capable of. We saw it earlier in the season at Bournemouth, about 25-30 yards out. Fantastic strike right into the corner.
Good chance. 69 minutes on the clock. You're listening to Talk Sport. Stoke haven't scored more than one goal in a league game this season. They haven't got any so far in this match either. And they weren't a team that spent a lot in the summer, Danny, were they? They weren't shy about trying to get players. I know they tried to get hold of the likes of Phil Jones and Axel Witsel. They did bring in Martins Indi and Bonnie on loan. Spent a bit of money on Alan and Robbie. Here on the left-hand side is Valencia. It's Martial, into the penalty area, looking for Martial to get the ball back off of Rooney, and he curls it into the far post and scores! Martial, the substitute, comes on and puts Manchester United in front. A lovely exchange of passes between him and Rooney on the edge of the penalty area, cuts Stoke City open, and when it came back to Martial, he arced the ball high past Lee Grant and into the far corner of the net, and it's Manchester United 1, Stoke City 0.
I'll talk about impact. Mourinho will be absolutely delighted with Martial. He played the ball, he's tried to play 1-2 with Rooney. I think Rooney's touch initially didn't go back to Martial. I think the Stoke City player that played it back to him, but he's got down that left hand side and he's driven inside. I think he's tried to play the 1-2 with Rooney. I think it was actually Jeff Cameron that actually got the touch in it. Martial carried on his run and just bends it perfectly into the corner, and no goalkeeper's going to save that. But once again, as we'd said earlier, Manchester United having the joy, starting in the wide areas, then coming inside, and it's an outstanding finish, and Grant doesn't even dive.
Well, Wayne Rooney came off the bench with an almost fortunate assist on Thursday night to give Manchester United the lead. He inadvertently played a big part in that goal too.
He did, and from Jeff Cameron there's very little he can do about that. He's got to go and try and make the challenge of Rooney, but unfortunately for him, it fell to Martial, and he did the rest. But like I say, once again, it's them wide areas for Manchester United. That's the only place where Stoke City are vulnerable, and they showed it then when Martial picked up the ball and went one-on-one against Johnson.
Instant impact from Manchester United substitute. Martial scored after 70 minutes. It's Manchester United who lead by a 1-0 on Talk Sport. And they might not be finished yet, because Rashford is coming down the right-hand side. He's got support arriving into the box with Pogba. Pogba at the near post, across the face of goal, missed by Rooney. Rooney missed that one. Here is Martial in towards Ibrahimovic, tries to bring it down and flick it back. Martial still got it, still alive inside the box. Here's Blint with a strike, it hits the back of Martins Indi and goes behind into the scoreboard end and out for a corner. But Manchester United with severe pressure on the Stoke back line there, and they were so close to getting a second goal in quick succession. Ball slid through the penalty area at one stage. I thought it was going to be a certain second goal. Martins Indi had to stand in the way of Blimp from getting just that. Here is the corner, drifted in towards the penalty spot. Bailey up with a header, runs loose inside the box. Blint will get there, pulls it back to Bailey, who's miskicked it. Now comes out to Rooney, edge of the 18-yard box, drives the ball forward, takes a deflection off the diving Peters, and then picked up by Bonnie, and then retreating Bailey makes a wonderful tackle. Brilliant tackle by Bailey. Timed it beautifully to get it back to halfway. Here is Valencia down the right-hand side for Manchester United, into Ibrahimovic, onto Valencia again. Peters is going to get back in front of him just in time, and it's out for another corner.
This is a real difficult time for Stoke City. They've just got to dig in, they've got to keep it at 1-0, because as we've seen in other games that they've had this season, when they concede one, it soon quickly turns to 2, then 3, and they've just got to stand strong now, because Manchester United really are in the ascendancy, and the movement from the players as well, the likes of Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Ibrahimovic, all getting involved, in Rooney as well. Stoke City really struggling to deal with it.
1-0 Manchester United. Here's Rashford towards the edge of the penalty area. Martial curling the ball towards the penalty spot. Or it comes back towards Ibrahimovic. Lovely save by Lee Grant down at the near post. Well, I wonder whether or not Ibrahimovic put enough power in that effort He certainly allowed it to drop out of the sky. He had all sorts of time before he pulled the trigger. It was unmarked at the back post, and that's terrible defending by Stoke to allow that to happen. His shot was repelled by Grant. Here come United again. Rashford down the right side, low cross in towards the near post, and across comes Shawcross and puts it out in the way for another corner. They're struggling.
They are, and ever since Manchester United got that goal, you can see some of the Stoke City players, their heads have gone down. You only have to look at the last opportunity that Ibrahimovic had. Manchester United played a short corner, no one anywhere near Rashford, and they just need to dig in now. But that problem can be, you can see the first goal, we talk about it, you can see that first goal and the heads go down and you think the inevitable is going to happen and we're not going to get back into the game.
Martial on the right side, low ball into the box, which Bonny deals with, and then away by Arnautovic. Terrible clearance picked up by Bailly on the edge of the penalty area. On to Martial. Now Rashford down by the byline, being watched by Arnautovic. He takes it towards the corner flag on the Manchester United right, low cross into the box, which Bruno Martins Indy clears, and then it's feathered away by Peters, and then Valencia doesn't allow Shaqiri to escape, and it goes out on this near side and away for a throw-in. It is Manchester United 1, Stoke City 0. The goal coming from Anthony Martial, and remember you can watch that goal on Sky Sports Football Score Centre app, available at no extra cost for Sky TV customers with Sky Sports. 17 games in the Premier League now for Stoke City without a clean sheet, and to be honest with you, Manchester United have been knocking at the door all game. Here is Allen down the left, Arnautovic 2 yards in from the touchline, brings it infield. Got to remember that Stoke City haven't scored more than one league goal in a game so far this season. Goals are a big problem for them, and as a result, and you're now looking at it thinking, well, the best they can hope for is a draw. Here is Bruno Martins Indy. That must play with you as a player as well if you're on the pitch, Danny. You must know that.
Huge. It does massively, and I think we saw from the reaction when Manchester United got the 1-goal lead, it seemed to be, oh, here we go again, and some of the players' heads dropped, and you can tell a lot by the mannerisms of players, and it was a case of, oh, here we go again, and Manchester United, they want to go out and get that second goal, but it's important from Stoke City's point of view. Still 15 minutes left. They just need to dig in and just try and withstand this bit of pressure from Manchester United, and then maybe they'll get a chance themselves.
Eric Bailly's got a little bit of a problem, but more importantly, there's an issue out on this left-hand side here. I think it's a problem for Arnautovic, who's on the edge of the penalty area. He's gone down, he's deep inside United territory. All the players now on the other side of the pitch, but on this near touchline, Arnautovic has gone down after a challenge from Ander Herrera. And Ander Herrera has already been booked in the game, remember?
I think what it was, Herrera's trying to win the ball, and Arnautovic's foot is planted, and he's kicked him right in the back of the calf, and his whole body's jolted forward, and physio at the moment is just checking out his knee, and it doesn't look comfortable at all. But I think it was a situation where the player's leg is planted into the ground, and Herrera's giving him a good kick. He's got up now. Herrera's gone to see if he's alright, but just always struggling a bit on Arnautovic.
Crouchy coming on, Jonathan Waters coming on too. Let me give you the latest odds from Betfair, Sunday Exclusive's official betting partner on TalkSport. A £25 pre-match bet on United now can be cashed out for £30. The latest betting, 16-1 on United to win, 66-1 for Stoke to come back and win, 10-1 the draw. And remember, cash out is available on single or accumulator bets to take your winnings before the end of the match, but conditions do apply, and they are available on selected markets only. Go to the website betfair.com or download the app and try it today, and please gamble responsibly. A little bit later on, Spurs against Manchester City, live on TalkSport. 2:15 that game starts. Here's the substitution for Stoke City, and here's Don McGuinness with it.
Well, it's a double substitution, just like Jose did before. Mark Hughes makes a similar one, but Crouch and Walters come on, and it's Bonny who gets a little bit of a boo, of course. His parent club is Manchester City, and Arnautovic also makes way.
Well, Arnautovic was injured, I think, in that collision. And Jonathan Waters is coming on as a result of that. He's had a bit of an ankle knock himself, Jonathan Waters. I know you spoke to him in midweek. Is he back to full fitness now?
Yeah, he's absolutely fine, and I think it's been a frustrating time for John Walters not been in the team, and it's been difficult for him to get into the team, but him and Crouch coming on now, obviously Crouch gives you that extra height. So with Stoke City defending that deep, maybe you can hold the ball up a little bit better just to give them a bit of breathing space, and then they'll be hoping that the likes of Walters, Allen and Shaqiri can get up and support him.
Halfway line, Manchester United have possession, leading by a goal to nil on Talk Sport. Here is Rooney, tucking the ball out towards the wide right position. Now it's with Ander Herrera. Herrera strokes it back through the centre circle, where it's found by Smalling. Smalling out to the left, and now Blint. Blint, a couple of yards in from the touchline, wants to travel with it. Gives it back instead to Smalling. Smalling forward towards Joe Allen, who was sort of holding him up and stopping him from going anywhere. It comes back into the centre circle. Herrera gets it all the way back to Eric Bailly, and Manchester United just happy and content to hold on to possession here. Of course, Manchester United have got Jose Mourinho in charge now, and 1-0 is always okay for him. Here is Ibrahimovic moving now towards the edge of the box. He finds Rashford. Rashford wearing pink boots. Out to Valencia, then back into Ibrahimovic again. And United just ticking things over, making sure they hold on to the ball and not do anything stupid here. They lead by a goal to nil. We've got 11 minutes left on TalkSport. Here is Valencia. Valencia trying to break. He's got some space to run into on the edge of the area. He's got Rashford on the outside if he wants to use him. He does now. Rashford just hesitated slightly. Now takes on Waters. Tries to push it past him, but runs out of room. And it goes off the camber and out and behind into the advertising boards, and it's a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Well, Manchester United lead, courtesy of Martial's goal. Picked it up left side, travelled towards the edge of the penalty area, tried to play the 1-2 with Rooney. Rooney actually miscontrolled it, and Cameron, trying to challenge him from behind, nudged it back into the path of Martial. Certainly from our angle initially, it looked like it was a pass from Rooney. It wasn't. And then it was curled, arced into the far post by Martial. Super finish by Anthony Martial. Made a good impact actually when he came off the bench in midweek. I think the manager was happy with his 16-minute cameo that he put in. Here is Blint over on the far side, who's just had a little tumble after a collision with Shaqiri, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
They just can't get out at the moment, Stoke City. We saw at the start of the first half playing a lot higher, taking the game a bit more to Manchester United, and they had a few opportunities, but now they've dropped really deep, and it is a 4-5-1 with Crouch just being out of the way of the rest of the players, and it's difficult for Stoke City to get out. They're encamped, and when they do get the ball, the only real option is Crouch, and he's quite a distance away from the rest of the players. And if they do get the ball to him, he's got to contend with Bailly, Smalling and Herrera.
Well, Stoke got themselves in front late in the game against West Brom last week, only to end up dropping 2 points in the last knockings. Is there a late charge coming from them this afternoon? Doesn't look like it. Here comes Blint down the left-hand side, looking for Martial. Rooney just holds his run and moves to the edge of the box as Martial tries to go past the defender, and it was a, agricultural challenge from Ryan Shawcross, which leads to a free kick.
It's fantastic play from Martial. He's got in behind Johnson as centre-halves. Ryan Shawcross in this instance, he's the one that's had to go out. Going out into areas they don't want to go. I always talk about centre-backs not wanting to go outside the width of the 18-yard box because they can be isolated. And that's exactly what Martial's done there to Ryan Shawcross, and I don't think he'll get much more of an easy decision this afternoon.
Just clothesline.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what they do from this one, because it's another set piece, and once again it is the zonal marking.
Here is the free kick then. It's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the byline, almost on the left side of the 18-yard box. Rooney will take it. Ibrahimovic waiting in the centre. Smalling's there too. Rooney goes for goal, and it's a low ball which ends up falling straight into the midriff of the goalkeeper Lee Grant, and he easily clutches that and pulls it into his chest, and it remains Manchester United 1, Stoke City 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Remember, you can watch all 7 Sky Sports channels anywhere you like on Sky Go with your compatible mobile, your tablet or your laptop. Here is Cameron, left side for Stoke City, floating a ball into the box which is going to harm absolutely no one. It bounces 3 times before Blint in the left fullback position swipes at it, doesn't catch it right at all, and puts pressure on his team by giving away a throw-in deep inside his own territory. That's not what Manchester United want to do late in the game, not with only 8 minutes remaining. And 3 points seemingly in the bag. Here's Glenn Johnson though, ghosting towards the edge of the penalty area, trying a shot. Oh, it's Spill, comes back to John Waters, might come across the face of goal. It does come across the face of goal, and it's bundled in by Joe Allen, who gets his second goal in a week. And Manchester United are made pay for being casual right at the end of the game, and it's a Stoke City equaliser with 8 minutes remaining, and Joe Allen can't stop smiling. The former Liverpool player has scored in front of the Stretford end, and it's Manchester United 1, Stoke City 1.
Well, you've got to say that it's against a run of play. Blint initially, you spoke about it, just puts the ball out of play. Real mistimed, clearance, and then the throw comes in. Glenn Johnson does really well, and he hits a shot, and it takes a wicked deflection, and De Gea's not able to keep hold of it. Walters then puts it back across goal. You think Crouch is going to put it into the net, but it hits the crossbar, but then bounces lovely for Joe Allen, who's following in. But full credit to John Walters following in initially, and then Joe Allen, but like you say, couldn't see it coming. Joe Allen's in the right place at the right time after good work from John Walters initially, but it all came from Manchester United when it goes to Blint, just trying to clear the ball anyway, and he just puts it out for a throw-in, and it came from that Stoke City and then ended up in the back of the net.
Well, Manchester United had so many opportunities to score a multitude of goals in this game, didn't convert them, and now they've conceded late on to a really scruffy goal from Joe Allen, his second in a week for Stoke City since his £12 million move from Liverpool. And in front of the Stretford end, the former Liverpool man scores, and it's Manchester United 1, Stoke City 1, and United have made a final change. Don McGuinness.
Yeah, Memphis Depay will come on for the last 6 or 7 minutes, and whatever the referee's going to add on for injury time. Herrera makes way, so the final change made by Jose.
Here's Valencia down the right hand side, getting it off of Memphis and moving towards the edge of the box. Rooney now trying to turn the ball down the left side. It's flicked on by Rashford, but Pogba didn't go for the run, and then it's knocked out by Whelan, out for a throw down in front of the scoreboard end, and the supporters away to our right just standing and trying to draw Manchester United further up the pitch towards them as they go in search of now a late winner, because there's only 6 minutes remaining. Here's Pogba trying to get it into the box, plays it off of Peters, who's still claiming that Pogba handled as he brought the ball down initially from the throw-in, but it's not, it's a corner kick. It's the 6th corner kick of the game for Manchester United, and they need a good delivery now from their one-time captain, who is the club captain, Wayne Rooney, right-footed, delivers the ball, an outswinger towards the penalty box, and there's a bit of pushing going on from Bailly on the shoulder of the short cross, and as a result of that, the free kick is given to Stoke City. And this is going to be one of those games that Jose Mourinho will walk away from kicking himself, thinking, if we are going to win a title, we need to get all 3 points in matches like this.
They do, definitely, and he'll be exasperated, he'll be disappointed because the amount of chances they've had, and then the manner in which they conceded the goal. There was a couple of mistakes, like I say, from Blint initially, just putting it out for a throw-in when there's no real need. He could have taken his time, and he's the last person I've expected that from, because he's so good on the ball, so relaxed. But Stoke City, they haven't had many chances, but they made that chance themselves, and like I say, good hard work there from Walters to create the opportunity, and Joe Allen, who's been getting more forward as the game's gone on, he's in the right place at the right time to put it in the back of the net.
Manchester United have gone to a 4-2-4 since the introduction of Memphis. The ball's been dropped into the box towards Ibrahimovic. Whelan attempts to clear. Blint has got it left side, up towards Rooney. Rooney now needing to shift it back onto Blint. Blint with a chance to cross. It's blocked by Cameron, and Stoke all of a sudden just finding that belligerent bone in their body that seemed to have gone missing over the course of the season so far. Again, it's drifted into the box. No Manchester United red jersey is there. Away by Waters. Wasn't the best of clearances. Missed by Allen. Comes to Pogba. Edge of the D. Tries to find it onto Ibrahimovic. He shoots towards the far corner, and Grant makes another good save and tips it round and outside the post and away for a corner kick. I think Memphis Depay really should have been breaking his neck to get in on the rebound of that. Didn't quite reach it. It squirms behind and goes out for a corner, but another big chance stopped by Lee Grant. Here's the corner taken by Memphis. Poor delivery. Headed away by Peters. Back in by Bailly towards his right side. Oh, it's gone straight to Waters, and Waters has now kicked it clear, but Shaqiri hasn't got the pace to beat Blint and Bailly, and it's all the way back to De Gea.
Just going back to that chance that Manchester United had then, it was a great save from Grant, but the ball's played to Ibrahimovic. Just out of his eye shot was Martial. If he could just play that one more pass, Martial had a one-on-one with Grant, but he's going to take the opportunity there himself. But once again, Grant with a fantastic save.
Here is Rashford turning and playing the ball out to Memphis Depay once again. Depay trying to get the ball into the centre, gives it to Rashford, looks for the return, then is beaten to it by Peters, and the two Dutchmen tangle and fall to the ground, and the ball is poked out and away for a throw. We're in the 87th minute of the game. It's Manchester United 1, Stoke City 1. Is there going to be a winner in this? It's Depay trying to turn. He's crowded out by Whelan. It's a clearance which only reaches Smalling. Smalling's control is, well, nothing short of appalling. and he's given it straight to Stoke City, who can now counter-attack. And here goes Waters, trying to get forward. He's got Bay for company, but he's still got hold of the ball. He tried to play a little reverse pass towards Joe Allen. Bay did brilliantly. Just was patient, didn't panic, and got his tackle in, and Manchester United have got it back again. They're urged forward by the Old Trafford crowd. There's 1-1 here at Old Trafford as Manchester United are in danger of dropping 2 points. Rooney onto Memphis, can't control, away by Martins Indy, up to the halfway line, a half header by Smalling. Bailey picks it up again. Bailey strides forward. He sends it down the right. Lots of space for Rashford. Intelligent ball from Bay into Rashford's path. He sends across low in towards the near post. It flicks off of Martin Inzindi and goes out for a corner to Manchester United in the 88th minute of the game.
They've just got to stay strong now, Stoke City. They have defended these corners really well so far.
Here's the corner to be taken by Rashford. It's a one towards the edge of the 6-yard box, which is easily headed away by 6'7" Peter Crouch. One by first Valencia, then Blint onto Rashford. Another chance for a delivery. It's Rashford's delivery into the near post. He crashed the crossbar. Pogba with a header. It was a thunderous header from Pogba, and he's cracked the crossbar with it. Excellent delivery by Rashford. Pogba arrived and he hit it with a meat at the forehead, and the crossbar and the frame of the goal still shaking.
What a ball that was from Rashford. Just opened himself up, and the pace and the power on the ball. Pogba he directed it, but he couldn't direct it into the back of the goal. But what a ball that is. Pogba meets it full on. He just roused the crossbar, but once again, Rashford's delivery, absolutely outstanding.
Well, nothing Lee Grant could have done about that if that was on target, because that was going straight in the net. Saved by the post. Stoke City, who are looking to avoid defeat at Manchester United for the first time in 14 Premier League games. Here is Bardsley, who's coming on to help out the defence. Sacrificed is Shaqiri. And the ball is out on the near side and away for a Manchester United throw. We've got less than a minute of normal time to be played here at Old Trafford. Remember, we're live commentary of Spurs Manchester City on the way very shortly. It's picked up by Rooney. Rooney down the right into Rashford. Rashford backwards towards Bailly. They didn't like that, the Old Trafford crowd. They want it in the box. Rooney tries to deliver the ball. It took a little deflection. Now it's going to go behind and away for another corner. And in the last knockings of the game, as we approach injury time, Manchester United have a corner kick, and Wayne Rooney is going to take it. Remember, Rooney left out of the team for 3 games in a row. Has come on as a substitute here. There's a bit of pushing off the ball as Allen goes down, and Pogba is having a word with the referee, Bobby Madley, who now wants to speak to him. Glenn Johnson is complaining to him. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. The Stoke fans can't believe it. The Manchester United fans delighted with that and are urging their team now to make the best possible use of those 4 minutes. Now Pogba and Allen have been warned by the referee. The ball goes into the box from Wayne Rooney with the corner. It's a terrible corner, but it comes out as far as Valencia, who gives it back to Rooney. A second chance to impress here. Left-footed, drips it towards the far post. People coming in blue, ahead of those in red, and it's flicked behind off of Shawcross and goes out for another corner for Manchester United.
It's fantastic defending at the far post from Shawcross, because Ibrahimovic was there, Pogba was there. It's a great ball in to the far post from Rooney.
Here is the corner to be taken by Blint. A clutch of 4 red shirts on the penalty spot. It's looped in towards Pogba, who rises, but he took a massive lift. He jumped all over the back of the defender, Glenn Whelan, and it's got to be a free kick, and it is. And Wayne Rooney, just getting a little bit irate, has a word with the referee. Jose Mourinho looked absolutely incredulous, comes out to the edge of his technical area, gets a little bit angry, then tries to rev his team up one last time.
I think you've got to give great credit to Stoke City, because what they did when they went 1-0 down, they were under immense pressure. They dug in and they made sure he didn't get to 2-0. As a team, they all dug in, and then they got an opportunity and took it. So you have to give them great credit for that. But Manchester United's point of view, they've missed so many chances this afternoon.
They've missed too many chances, and I think, as much as you have to give Stoke credit for hanging on in there, and they did do that, and they've come away with a point here, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted with it, seeing as they're bottom of the table and never ever get anything from a trip to Old Trafford. They have been a little bit lucky, and Manchester United have been a little bit wasteful with chances in front of goal. And I think when he goes into the international break, Jose Mourinho, he'll go into the international break incredibly disappointed that he didn't get 3 points in the match.
Well, yeah, if it stays this way, then without question, Mark Hughes will be absolutely delighted. They've got a free kick now, maybe 45 yards out, and Wayne Rooney's going to put it up there. All the big players have gone up there. Pogba's up there, Ibrahimovic, Smalling. and Bay as well.
Here's the free kick, which is taken by Rooney, easily headed away by Johnson, but won by first Valencia. Depay with a delivery in towards the box, looking for Smalling, headed away by Martins Indy. It's a poor clearance by Joe Allen, but he gets a second chance at doing so, and this time he does hoist it forward. We're into the 93rd minute of the game now, and John Waters is having a bit of a wrestling match with Bailly. Bailly does well enough to keep hold of the ball. They wanted a free kick, the Manchester United fans, but play on, says the referee. Memphis sends it down the right side, cut out by Peters, goes out of play on this near side. Manchester United about to draw for only the second time in 19 Premier League games. It's usually all or nothing with this lot, but today they're going to share the spoils unless they can find a late winner. They need one like they got at Hull City away earlier in the season. It's with Rashford who got that goal, tries to poke it on, overhits it, can't find Pogba, goes behind, and I think maybe the chance is gone, and Manchester United now in danger of being 8 points behind Manchester City by the end of the day.
No, they are, and like I said, you know, we looked at it last season under Van Gaal, and it was the way that they were playing, the system that they were playing didn't suit them, the lack of opportunities, but no one can say anything about that this afternoon. They've had some great opportunities, and I think you have to look at Stoke City. Defended very well. I think there's a lot of pressure come their way, a lot of questions come their way, but to a man defensively, they've stood up and they've been strong, and they've had Grant behind them who's done a magnificent job in goal.
Well, he's made some excellent saves, and I'll be flabbergasted if he doesn't get the Man of the Match award. He's done brilliantly for his team, his new team. Of course, only his second appearance in a Stoke jersey today. Lee Grant. Here is David De Gea, 93 minutes 37 seconds on the watch. We've got 4 minutes of added time to be played. De Gea sends it long, looking for Depay. It's away by Waters, comes back, and Bay turns it up towards Valencia. They need to get it forward quickly. Valencia towards Ibrahimovic, who wins the header. It comes to Rooney, who's 20 yards from goal. He sends it wide left. Martial into the box. Depay is in there, so is Paul Pogba. The referee blows the full-time whistle. The Stoke fans cheer. They get a very, very rare point from Old Trafford. There's hugs all round from those in light blue. A shake of the hands between Mourinho and Mark Hughes. It's a rare point for Stoke at Old Trafford. Disappointment on the face of Anthony Martial, who gave Manchester United the lead, but in truth, Danny Higginbottom, they were far too wasteful.
They were. The first half they should have had 2 or 3 goals themselves, but when it's only 1-0, you know the other team, being Stoke City, they're going to get opportunities. They'll be delighted with this point, no doubt about it. Everybody had written them off before the game. When they went 1-0 down, the next 10 minutes they were vital. They were absolutely vital for Stoke City, and they dug in, they were strong, they were resolute, and then they got the opportunity themselves. So they will have quietened a few people down this afternoon, Stoke City, definitely, with the dogged performance in defence, and that man of the match, Lee Grant, I don't think any question.
Well, I'm just looking away to my left-hand side, and I can see Zlatan Ibrahimovic has taken his jersey off. He's walking away towards the tunnel. He's absolutely furious with the result. Stoke, well, they'll be pleased as punch with this. They rarely get anything from Old Trafford, and a point will do them nicely, especially the run they're on. United's first draw of the season, and they will see this as 2 points dropped against the side who started the day bottom of the table. Joe Allen's equaliser 7 minutes from time has robbed Manchester United of all 3 points. It's finished Manchester United 1, Stoke City 1.